Alrighty, this is Commissioner Marshon YT with McLovin21 starting interview process with British Transport Police for London's Calling Community Roleplay. So, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Alright, lovely. So, question number one is, why do you want to join the British Transport Police?
So the reason I wanted to join British Transport Police is because I work with them on a regular basis. So, um, yeah. So basically, the reason I want to join is because I work with them on a regular basis. They're a really sound team. They're one of the best police forces to work for in the country. And they get a lot of benefits working out of them. I want to help people. And yeah, that's why I want to join.
Alright. What do you know about the roles and responsibility of the British Transport Police?
So the roles and responsibility of British Transport Police is basically it's to help. It's basically to safeguard the railway. So they're there to basically safeguard the railway, keep the railway safe from harm or danger in a sense. Examples is football matches and stuff. They have heavy police presence around stations and stuff to help basically to keep security tight on stations and stuff, and keep everyone safe traveling from A to B. That is, in a nutshell, what British Transport Police is. They also do things like community engagement stuff as well, so spreading awareness of safety around the railway, like don't trespass, things like that. They have what's called the Golden Rule of Six as well, which basically 6 steps of safety to follow for British Transport Police. All rail staff and police are taught the Golden Six rules. Um, which basically you got things like see it, say it, sort it, which basically means like if you see something suspicious happening around the railway, then yeah, you can basically just got to report it, either via railway control or straight to British Transport Police, and then they'll come and deal with it and take their precautionary steps.
Alright, perfect. Can you describe your understanding of the different types of crimes and incidents that the British Transport Police handle?
Yep. So, so some of the crime stuff that the British Transport Police handle is trespassing is a big one. People trespassing down the line. Fatalities, they deal with that unfortunately, alongside railway staff and Network Rail. Lost property or suspicious packages. Lost children and adults and vulnerable adults. All sorts of crimes from petty crimes to major crimes, so like thefts of luggage, wallets, etc., etc. They also deal with the larger scale incidents as well, so terrorist attacks. Example: Manchester Arena, BTP were involved in that, things like that.
Alright. How do you handle stressful situations or high pressure situations, and can you provide an example?
Yep. So, well, I mean, a lot of the jobs or a lot of the careers that I've had in the past, you've had to handle high pressure situations really, really well. You've had to stay calm in them. You've had to give clear and concise instructions of what's going on to people who might not know what's going on. A lot of the times as well, it's a very loud, very noisy situation. There's a lot of panic, whereas at the same time, you can't show that you're panicked, but you have to still deal with what's going on around you. Examples of this was I work on the railway, so I've had 4 fatalities in my time of working on the railway. I've stopped one. Um, One was in a station. Fatality has happens in a station. You have to shut the whole station down, inform control, and basically deal with whatever's happened at the same time. Now, being platform staff at the time, and X, Y, and Z of what happened, that's quite a stressful situation because you've got a train full of people, you've got a platform full of people, and you have to basically get them away from what's happened and maintain that level of professionalism and try not look basically like you're shitting yourself.
All right.
In a sense.
How would you deal with a difficult or confrontational, individual while maintaining a professional and calm demeanor?
So the way that I deal with the confrontation is straight away try and find out what's going on from both sides of the story. Maintain a calm voice at all times. Don't try and rise yourself above the person. Also, don't be pandering or over the top as well, because that never helps the situation. If I was wearing a what's called a BWC or body worn camera, I'd pretty much switch that on straight away. Just protects myself as well as the other person. Inform the person they're being recorded visually and audibly. That tends to calm the situation down, or it can heighten the situation depending on what's going on. Either way, make sure your body camera's on, so everything's being recorded. I'll try and resolve the situation the best I can. If I can't resolve the situation, I'd then try and pass it on to someone else who can resolve the situation. And if they completely isn't resolving the situation, unfortunately, it's a case of saying, well, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do here. And 9 out of 10 times, they probably won't take it lightly. But sometimes you have to have that conversation and go, there isn't anything I can do. You're going to have to do this kind of thing.
All right. Here's a very major one that we have to ask. What would you do if you witnessed a colleague engaging in an inappropriate behaviour or misconduct?
Report it. Straight up report it. I would, so it depends who's on at the time. So if the duty sergeant's on, I'd report it to the duty sergeant and be like, X, Y, and Z's done this. I think you need to have a word with them, and then leave it with them. It's down then to their job to take it further. Feel like the duty sergeant's not taking it further enough or nothing's been done about it, you can go to the IPC, or you can go to the commissioner, or you can, basically take it higher if you need to.
Yep. All right. How do you prioritize your workload and ensure that all tasks are completed efficiently?
So timekeeping is a really good one for this. Making sure that you've got enough time to complete all tasks. An example is if you, for me, I move around the country quite a lot. So if I'm one end of the country, I've got to make sure that I'm in a certain place at a certain time, and I've got to give myself enough time to get to that place. I don't want to be leaving 3 hours late, rushing and missing all my trains or whatever. So it's just about timekeeping and just keeping a check of things, and having kind of good situation awareness of around yourself, I'd say.
All right. What would you do to build a positive relationship and trust with your communities as you serve as a British Transport Police officer?
So it's really important that you build good relationships with colleagues, rail staff, the community that's around you, because you're working with each other constantly. So if you don't build relationships with us, then you're not going to work effectively together, and then something majorly could happen. You will need to do inter-service working, and it just falls apart because there's just no connections there whatsoever. So as colleagues, as a police service, it's really important that you build the community relations up and you build the rail staff relations up, and that way you all just work together as one big happy family.
All right. Are you able to keep your mental well-being to a high standard to ensure that you are capable of performing the duties required of the British Transport Police and their surrounding operations that you may conclude?
Yeah, so whilst you're on shift as a police officer, it's really important that whatever issues, whatever problems you've got on outside of work stays at the door, never follows you into work. Purely because, as harsh as it might sound, your opinions, your situations don't count when you're out in the field. You're not there to judge, you're not there to make an opinion. You are there to do a job, and you are there to do that job effectively. If your mental state isn't that great and you go out to do a job and then that starts to affect your job, it can either put you at risk or put someone else at risk.
All right. I will give you one final question. Can you describe your understanding of diversity and inclusion and how it relates to the work of the British Transport Police?
Yes. So diversity and inclusion is all about treating everyone equal, not the same. So everyone's different. Everyone has different challenges in life. We're not all there to do the same job and do the same thing, but at the same time, you've got to treat each other with respect and dignity, and you've got to treat each other as equal as possible. British Transport Police do that really well by they get involved in all the Pride months and stuff and all the Pride events that go on around the network. They also have a really good inclusion and diversity policy that's basically fed to you constantly throughout your career, as well as along the railway as well. We do a lot of tasks around inclusion and diversity, and we have a lot of policies in place around it as well. And we try, and the railway and the BTP, because they work together so well, they interlock their policies really well, and we always talk to each other about different policies that we have, and we tell each other about it as well. So both sides are well educated on it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right. Just some quick fire questions so we can get this done. So, number one is are you sure that your mental well-being is safe and able to continue with operationals and duties?
Yes.
All right. Are you well and up to date with your legislation and community guidelines?
Yes.
Do you know your community managers of the server?
No, but I am happy to get to know them.
All right, I will send you the list of community managers, and you can contact them whenever. Are you able to not be racist?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Cough, cough, Robbie. And finally, are you able to perform duties with due care and attention without managing yourself to become angry or have any unstable precautions within your duties?
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Lovin. I will head and give this down to the Department of Education and the Education of Police and Command, and we will review your interview, and we will contact you in the next 15 to 5 minutes. Could be even less than that. But myself and OB will also discuss this a bit further, and we will give you your training date and timing later this evening. Thank you for joining this interview. You may leave at any moment of time unless you have any further questions towards me or my assistant OB.
No, that's everything. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thank you very much. You may leave the interview room. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
That concludes training session, interview session number 1, British Transport Police and Metropolitan Police crossover by Commissioner Marshon and interview personnel OB1 Kenobi and person who was being in the interview McLovin 2-1. Concludes all interview sessions. More information will be dropped at a later date on the community tab.